Hello, welcome to Ask the Experts. I'm Duke Kimhan, the host of the show, and with me today I have two experts from the real estate industry. I'm very honored to have Attilio Leonardi and Adrienne Lally. If you've been around the west side or any side pretty much of the town, you're going to see these two people's signs because they are so well placed and well publicized. They have a lot of advertising, but they've also grown their business to be some of the top realtors in Hawaii. So Attilio, how did you get started in real estate?
I've always been in sales, and I decided I wanted to get into something that had a bigger ticket price. So I figured, a house is gets as expensive as it gets. So I said, I'm going to take the class. Got my license. Actually didn't even do anything with it for about 2 years. And then finally one day I just said, you know what, I just need to get this real estate thing going. And it was right at the peak of the worst real estate bubble. I mean, it was actually the downside of the bubble, and people were upside down in their homes. And I figured, you know what, I'll go help those people, and maybe a lot of the other realtors won't want to help them or feel that it's too much to take on. And if I do what others aren't willing to do, I'll be real busy, and that's what happened.
That's your specialty.
Short sales was how I started.
Adrienne, how'd you get started in real estate?
Well, I had a baby and decided that the Army was no longer for me.
You were in the Army?
I was in the Army. That's how I got to Hawaii.
Wow.
And again, after becoming a mother, it was no longer a good fit for me and my family. So I grew up in the real estate industry, helping my mom with open houses, stuffing envelopes, and that was back on the East Coast in Maryland, which is where I'm originally from. So just having that experience as a child, and I kind of felt like, okay, well, maybe maybe I'll give this a shot. But I wanted to do things just a little bit differently than my mom did.
So your husband is in the military also, though?
Yes, he's a Coast Guard.
Okay, so you guys were in two different fields? Is that?
I was in the Army, and then my husband is in the Coast Guard. And
who came to Hawaii? You got transferred?
We met here.
Oh, okay. There you go.
And just this is really the only duty station that we could be together. So it really was, wasn't
Coast
really.
Guard and Army. Yeah. Interesting. So when did this partnership start?
Well, one day I called the broker and I said, hey, I'm getting really busy here, and the team I'm currently with kind of fell apart, so I moved on and was by myself, but realized that I was just super busy. And so I called up our broker at the time and just said, hey, who are your top 3 realtors in the brokerage? 2 of them were in town. One was in Kapolei, where I live and work and play and everything else. I said, well, who's that person? That was Adrienne. I had a golf course listing, which was an equity sale. Nobody was facing foreclosure. Nobody got murdered in a back bedroom. Nobody was getting, going through real hard times. It was just your basic equity sale. And I said, well, how do you do that? So I said, I got a hold of Adrienne and said, I'll tell you what, I'll co-list this with you. You teach me everything you know, and then we'll go from there. And then we started that listing together, and then I started just getting really busy. And I said, you know what, I need help. And I don't want real estate to be my life, so I'd rather be part of a team. So I said, I'll tell you what, how about we partner up, and I'll come on and help you with listings. And here we are today.
Were you already specializing in this segment of the market, short sales, foreclosures, and REOs?
Well, with helping the military families, I got my license in 2004, which is like right as things were heating up. And then, of course, the market went up, and then it came back down.
Sure.
So a lot of my military families that I had helped purchase were getting ready to PCS,
Sure.
and they were all upside down. So I was doing the VA short sales, so I did have some experience with the short sales, but it was more of like a mix. I had equity sales and short sales, and then I also had, I already had a team in place, so it was easy for Attilio to come along and plug right in.
So when you talk about, well, let's just talk about terminology first. So when we talk about equity sale, explain what an equity sale is.
What is an equity sale?
That would be when the homeowner is actually making money when they're selling their home.
So just an average real estate transaction.
Yes.
Okay. And then short sale.
Short sale, that means that they are of short stature, they are less than 5 feet tall. No, that's not what a short sale is. Short sale, the real basic is you just take your hand and you go like this, and you go, here's what you owe, let's say it's 500,000, and let's say the value of a home is what the market is willing to bear on that home. So let's say that you owe 500,000, but it's worth 400,000.
Okay.
Nobody makes a decision and say, you know what, I think I'm going to do a short sale today. It's determined by your mortgage balance and what your home is worth.
Okay.
And the only time you actually need to do a short sale, if you're upside down and you're behind on payments, then you pretty much don't have a choice. It's either being foreclosed on or doing a short sale. But most of the time, if you're doing fine, you can make your mortgage payments and everything's going okay with you financially, even if you're upside down, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to do a short sale, but it's strictly defined by what you owe versus what it's worth.
So when you're selling the house,
valid hardship too.
Yeah.
right? So when you're selling your house short of your mortgage balance.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you just mentioned the word hardship.
Yeah.
So there's a valid hardship. Explain that.
So that would be like if you've gone through a divorce or you have military orders taking you off islands, you've lost your job,
Job loss.
disability. I mean, there's all sorts of things that can cause a hardship. Just basically, you're decreasing your income and your ability to make that payment.
Yeah, I guess the one thing we want to tell people is that being really bummed out that you're upside down in your home is not a valid hardship.
No.
You got to have one of those things that she mentioned.
Okay, so the other one is an REO, right? Real estate owned property. So what does that mean? When people say, is this an REO?
That would be like when the bank actually owns the property. So the previous homeowner was unable to do a successful short sale, and then the bank actually takes back that property, and then they contract us to help them sell the asset to another owner, because they're not in the business of owning properties. The bank is in the lending business.
But this is not your whole business. It's a big part of your business. Is that true?
What would you say the in the bank-owned properties, or that's a term, interchangeable, bank-owned, REO. A lot of people even call them a foreclosure. It's technically not a foreclosure. Foreclosure is a legal action, so
Sure.
a home cannot be a foreclosure. But I would say that those are facets of our business, but not. I think when we first started, for me, it was 100%. It was all short sales.
Okay.
That's all I did. If you had equity and everything was going great in your life, I probably wasn't working with you because it was too easy.
You wouldn't know what to do with
I
a
wouldn't know
simple
what to do with the easy
equity
kind.
sale, right?
Exactly. So I would say that we're evenly split between, not evenly split, I would say probably a big chunk is short sales.
I would say about maybe 35-40% of our business is short sales, and
And
the
then equity
REOs,
sales.
the
REOs
REOs
are real small. Those are
right
really
now,
slowed down.
yeah, just because that foreclosure process has become very difficult and
Right.
lengthy for the bank. So what's happening is the banks are encouraging homeowners to do the short sale, and they're even offering them money. Like we've seen a seller incentive all the way up to $30,000
To give up their house.
just to do the short sale and
Right.
cooperate.
As opposed to being foreclosed on.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started your business as concentrated on short sales, but now it's almost balanced
Yeah.
Yes.
to 50-50.
Mhm.
And when people approach you, how do you have that conversation with them to find out where they're at and what's going to be in their best interest?
Yeah, basically, when people sit down with us or we initially make contact with our team, a lot of it is we're just asking the question, tell us about your situation regarding your real estate, so real super open-ended question. And then from the answers that they give us, we start asking more detailed questions. One of the things that I liked about partnering up with Adrienne is that she had a similar beliefs that I had in this business, and that we're here to help people. And that our approach when we're sitting down with people is to find out what all their needs are and give them a game plan that's going to work best for them, but not necessarily.
For us to sell the home, I mean, that's
Sure.
not always the best plan. I mean, there's been times where we tell them, keep the home, rent
Sure.
it out,
Refinance.
refinance, yeah, put a tenant in there.
So in 2012, that closed last year, we're in 2013, your team was the #1 team in Honolulu, for the state of Hawaii actually,
Yeah.
to have the most transactions closed in a year. So how do you get to the point where you can successfully do that and actually care about the client at the same time? Because now you got lots
Oh.
of them.
Yes, and we have a big team. So we
Big
have
team.
we have a 15-person team. consisting of, we even have a neighbor island agent on Maui.
There you go.
Maui, yeah.
So you're on Maui also.
We're on Maui,
Doing
yep.
this.
And then we have 4 full-time buyer agents and a listing manager who, they help to keep the communication open.
Sure.
And then we have virtual assistants and a marketing director. So just using all of the team
Right.
to make sure that we're following up, that we have a communication guarantee,
Sure.
call all of our clients every Monday and give them an update.
Okay.
So
the seller
this-
clients.
Our seller clients, and then the buyer agents, they're going to be communicating with their buyer clients. So that's
Probably as often or more.
Yep.
How much technology is involved in today's real estate versus, 10 years ago?
Well, yeah,
What's the difference?
I started about 10 years ago,
Right,
so
you-
yeah, I mean it's a huge difference. But I mean, what I've been doing is just as new things come out, we try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we tried that
Sure.
didn't work. But there's so much to choose from.
There's all
that-
these new apps. Everything's moving to the phone. You have so much instant. They want instant messaging, instant technology, instant to know what's going on. And the banks are probably getting their technology upgraded too.
Yeah.
So you're having to keep up with them on that level too.
Well, I think with technologies is playing, comes into our business in two areas. One is with marketing.
Marketing.
And then number 2, the second part of that would be all of our back end, keeping track of all our client information, staying in touch with them, managing our team, being able to communicate with our team remotely and have everybody literally on the same page. So that's pretty much where technology is helping us leverage our time and better serve our clients in making that as efficient as possible, creating the most exposure for their property through technology, and being able to keep track of all these clients and all their real estate transactions through technology.
What is the biggest obstacle in your business right now?
The biggest obstacle,
Yeah.
I would say probably.
I think it's happy hour on Friday. No,
Getting
no,
there,
no.
right?
I think that we have a lot of people that are inquiring,
Sure.
and it's just we have so many people. Sometimes we cannot keep up with the amount of inquiries.
Because
So-
the market goes up and down, but you guys seem to stay busy. You stay consistent, and all the different shifts create different obstacles in your business. So right now the market is more a seller's market,
Yes.
but just 2-3 years ago
It's
it
the
was a
buyers.
buyer's market.
So we shift with the market. So when the market's shifting, we're adjusting our business so that we're successful in that market.
The pitfalls of working with this area of the business, short sales, foreclosure. I mean, there's a lot of emotion
Yes.
because this is a very tough thing to go through as a seller, just on the seller side.
Yes.
How do you work with that?
I would say that when we sit down with the client and they're, obviously home ownership, good when things are good or when things are bad. Either way, they're highly emotionally charged life situation for
Yeah.
anybody. And when things are not going well with the home, falling behind on payments, being upside down, one of the, we go through the nuts and bolts of, okay, this is the situation you're in. We determine what the plan of action is, and we're going to do it, and we have the track record, and we've done a ton of these. No worries. One of the last things that I share with the client before they get up and leave that meeting with them is to tell them, one of the things you got to be careful of is your mental well-being. And we jokingly say that we're part-time therapists, realtor,
Real estate therapy.
real estate therapy, and the one thing when we sit down with them and just go through the process, they kind of just relax, and the stress kind of bleeds away. But at the end, just to kind of put a cap on it and leave them with a thought, I tell them, what, you're in a bad situation, but you're not a bad person. So you need to separate the two. At the end of the day, it's